Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the One True Divine Feminine and Psychic Investigations Tarot. We're a site where we spread light and love and angelic vibes all across the universe. We also solve crimes here, and I just send a big heart-filled love out to everybody who's helping to solve those crimes. And today, I'm going to give you some homemade cards that are going to help to put you on the right path for some more stuff that seems to be going down. Okay. So we're going to begin with, yes, we're going to have some big fun today. Really big fun. Okay. Now, what this next thing is, it may or may not be a problem because the IRS does owe me money, but I want you to check to see if anybody applied for stuff online with them, because I will never file online myself. Because to be quite honest, though I am a normally intelligent woman, I can't even read your forms, to be quite honest. So I always do it with someone like H&R Block locally. I'll never do it online. But I got a check from Texas and another letter from Kansas. Both were offering different amounts of money. So I don't know, what's right or wrong, but just check to see if anybody applied online. And if so, check the IP address. And I do know that they owe me money. I'm going to see if they can get down to what that's all about. And I'm just a little concerned because, I know Texas had the Texas numbnuts who tried to illegally scramble my brains and my husband's brains with the MK Ultra. And I know that there were government officials who asked them to conduct this illegal study. And I want you to fire the people that abused their power in authorizing that, as well as the people that conducted the illegal study. And they made quite a bit of money off of it from possibly giving me cancer and scrambling my family's brains so that they could buy school uniforms for their fancy school for their kids by conducting Nazi-style experiments. So please get rid of the employees that authorized the illegal study. Okay. And they were from Texas. And that's why I'm a little concerned about the IRS check from Texas. Wouldn't that be coming from my own region? I don't know. But if anybody ever applies online in my name, that's not me, because I'll never do my own taxes. I can't even read your form. And anyhow, just saying. Okay. Now, the other thing I thought I would help to clear up is I am not receiving any government benefits whatsoever. No unemployment, Medicare, Section 8 housing, any of that stuff. One time in my life, I applied for unemployment during a seasonal job. I held on to 3 checks to see if my own savings would get me through. And when I realized that they did, I returned the checks. So, and I've never accepted any of that. So if somebody's getting unemployment or school grants or Medicare or Section 8 housing stuff in my name, that's not me. So you need to track that down. And of course, why is all this happening? Because they broke into my house with the help of local officials, I think, who gave them keys. They stole my one and only copy of my birth certificate. So they have that to be able to do all kinds of things now to try to, get money for themselves under my name. So you need to be constantly watching. Now, this, I think, is going to be really important. And DOJ, I would love if you could do this, because I keep getting downloads saying an official letter is coming. This is happening. You're going to get this and that and the other. And I get no letters whatsoever. None. I haven't received a court document, a single letter, anything. So I think you need to begin a database of all the court cases that have happened regarding me. And include a list of all the letters that I should have seen, which I have not, because I think what's happening is the mob just keeps recycling things. So they steal stuff, then they get their RICO mob employees to grab the letters, and then they recycle what they stole right back to the toxic family and secret society and various people who are subverting our justice system. And since I have never seen a single letter at a certain point, I would like kind of an accounting of what's going on. And I'd like to see all of the letters so that I can make sure that I can follow up on everything that this family has done. Can you help me with that? That would be really awesome. So we need a date, little spreadsheet, case number, what letters were sent that I never received. Merrick Garland does have a sneaky possible way to reach me, as does the FBI. It may or may not work, again, because they're going through emails. Don't send anything to me via email. They're in my emails daily, right? So you have to try to send it through the mail, and you need to have it with me sign, and then I would fingerprint it, right? We'll talk about that more, but I would like an accounting of what actually was supposed to come to me and then what actually does. And the only way I'm going to know is if you keep track of the cases, what letters were sent, because I haven't received a damn thing, not one single letter. So please, if you would be so kind to do that, that would be great, because, I hear I'm winning court cases, but I'm not seeing anything, and I'm not getting any of the official letters, not one. So somebody is, and they're still trying to hide stuff. So you need to help with that if you can. I appreciate it very much. Now, in the book that I wrote that got probably stolen in the living room, or the corrupt official was and the corrupt family member was, I identified a 3-letter organization in that book that is being run like a mob, because in order to get inducted into that organization, you have to have basically 2 handshakes from somebody who's already in there to get in. And we have this organization operating like a mob. We have secret societies operating like a mob. We have families operating like a mob and are actually attached to the mob. And because of that, if you place someone in the postal service, for example, who belongs to the mob, well, then you just call that person because you know who they are and say, we don't want this to go through because, we want to steal for the mob, right? So our whole government right now is literally working like a mob. And that's why we need the database with all the letters you think you've sent to me, because I haven't received any, not one. And even though Merrick Garland has a sneaky address for me, it may or may not work either, right? So please, if you would, because it'd be nice for me at the end of the day to know that I actually got back what was coming to me, and that it didn't just get recircled like water going down the toilet. Okay, so we have a lot of fraud happening with the U.S. Postal Service. And because this seems to be a new trend, our country falling apart with the corruption, I think what you really need to do, aside from just requiring a signature, is you now need to, overcome all of this thievery, is to set up fingerprint scans and require a driver's license. And it has to be both, because they could fake a driver's license. But unless you have somebody's thumb or fingerprint, it's pretty hard to do that. So if you want to get rid of some of the mob on the job, that's one way you could do it. All right. So I've been told that there was some problem with a huge amount of money that may have gone to an Aquarius with one of the credit unions that I have been a longstanding member of, always in good standing, that may have been in California or Michigan, and that an employee probably thieved and then got their cut and gave the rest to the bad guys. So can you please check the cameras in those credit unions? And I did turn in an IC3 form listing what credit unions they were to the FBI. However, I got to say, because I have a hacker who's constantly at it at the library, and this has been going on for 5 some years, I don't know if my forms are getting through, right? So I'm sure you guys have a way of figuring out what banks I have in California and Michigan. But literally for the past 5 or 6 years, all I had to do at certain points was to type in IC3 in the Google bar, and the hacker would show up. So the very people who were committing the crimes were probably subverting the IC3 forms. This is how deep the uh, corruption is running, just so you know. But please check with those credit unions and see if you can track that down. And if not, can I sue the credit union for falsely giving out the money to an employee who then gave it to the mobster, right? And I think we're at a point where we need to start firing government employees who are basically working as RICO members, racketeering influenced corrupt organization. Who are aiding and abetting these crimes, like the file clerk, for example, who couldn't do their job, the Aquarius lawyer, the cybersecurity specialist who helped to, scrub the computers of the horny pictures they sent to nasty inmates for money. We need to start firing employees that can't do their job because they belong to one of the mob groups, right? Because otherwise our whole government is going to fall apart. So I think it's time for us to get the mob out of the job. I don't know about you, but that's what I think. And it's so bad that if we've gotten to a point where we can't actually deliver justice because we've become so corrupt, then how about, when money gets stolen, the government just writes a check to the person who had the money stolen. And then that would encourage them to, guess what? Get the mob out of the job, right? So, where in cases where the money just, disappears, then the government should write a check and that should fix it. Like I heard, maybe there's some money in 6 different states for me. One is Florida and they don't want to give it back. How about you sue the state of Florida and force them to give it back? Or well, somehow we've got to get the mob out of the job, right? Because we're in a total breakdown phase right now where the DOJ is no longer working properly. Now, please, for the good people who are actually doing their job, that's not meant for you, right? But we have quite a little issue going on, and I'm trying to give you solutions for how it can be fixed. And we have various mobs working to steal money for their own organizations while subverting the entire justice system. And again, if the government had to pay for the corruption that it allows, then it would fix the corruption. Now, part of that corruption is happening because we have some warlocks working for the government. One I'm told is black, one is white, and they have deep ties to witchcraft covens, whom they then let into the house, right? Come on in. Let's see what we can do to some people and tear their lives apart, and we'll all share the money. And you just do a constant abusive attack on families and again subvert the whole justice system. I think it's really time for you to start looking at the role that witchcraft is playing in our government, right? So I think you need to solve that problem because that's a major point of corruption, and these people are demonically attached. So it is rather terrifying. And of course, we know in reality, they were actually trying to kill me. So it's not just pretend fear, it's real fear. I'm on my 3rd hitman, from what I understand. So we need to get the warlocks and witches, I think, out of, serious business. I also have to wonder if these warlocks aren't linked to the Secret Seven, because the filthy voyeur cameras seem to be linked to them. I hear they have links to the NBA, the music industry, and the film industry. So it's like, part of their really fun torture is to take pictures of you in the shower and show it around and charge for it, right? So again, and if it wasn't them, the other people that were allowed through the door did that. So you need to solve your filthy voyeur problem. And when you do, with Honeypot Dude and the other people that participated in that, I want you to publicly humiliate them and fire them, right? Because we can't have government employees basically selling porn in people's houses. Okay. So I want to watch it on the news. I really do. And you have to admit, you wouldn't want this happening in your house. So we fix this now, right? The intent was to publicly humiliate me, and we need to fire these people and publicly humiliate them. we need to get the filthy voyeurs out of Americans' homes. So, and again, this is all coming back to big G witchery. Isn't it so much fun, folks, where we are? We're losing it. We're totally effing losing it. So please work on this problem. Okay. And I know you're working on this, but every single person who helped to traffic me, from agency employees to those who paid, the corrupt person who was sitting in the living room. And I'm told maybe, it was a tarot card reading, so I don't really know, but maybe $500,000 was paid for all of the various things that happened to me, from poisoning my husband 3 times to trying to kill me, to trying to bury me alive in a box, to try to kidnap me for actual trafficking, not just, sex tape trafficking, to the really funny fake reality TV show, to everything that happened, right? Everything. You need to charge them. And I know you're working on it. And you shouldn't be afraid, who they are, because some of these people are the way they are because they've gotten away with it for so very long. So I want them to go down for sex trafficking. I do. And you need to take care of business, right? What's happened to actual human beings at the behest of letting corrupt people into our homes is uneffing believable. So you take care of business, right? I want to see it on the news. Okay. Now, there was a very corrupt person in a living room. And I've kind of settled on, the possibility of 2 people. One is maybe somebody called delirium tremens, if that means something to you. And in my book, I wrote about an upside down guy who wanted to win at any cost, right? So I figure it's one of those 2. So you need to read the book and figure out who, the upside down dude is. But I'm guessing it was one of the 2 who paid for all this. And I want them charged, baby. I do. So you're going to figure out who that is. Now, another thing that I received a download on was that snapped-on hairdo Gemini, because there's several Geminis. I may have paid 35 judges off to ensure that I would never get justice for any of the torture that I have been put through. Can you please check every judge in my state to see if bribe money got paid? Now, it may have been other judges too. You might know where this money would go. But again, should we have a justice system that can't deliver justice unless suitcases of money from criminals show up? Okay. 35 judges, that's the download, right? Now, maybe it isn't really happening, but it could be. So I think you need to check. Now, what happened in 2016 was a very long thought out plan, really well thought out, all the way down to who was sitting on the Ukraine desk at the time of the 2016 hack. And a lot of what happened was all spurred by hatred. Had much to do with, wanting to put people's necks on women, right? But it was really a death threat for a lot of homosexuals, right? The amount of hatred. I'm all for God. I just want a God that loves everybody, right? Bring light and love and beauty down to the universe. So, but this was spurred a lot by hatred. So because of that, I really want to know who paid for the software that caused the turmoil in my life. And I had 2 kinds. They were both reported to the FBI. One was, I won't say it because the FBI has the information. I think we need to find out because we live in such corrupt times that how do we know it wasn't somebody in our government that paid for the software that then loaded on the internet and just waited for the bombs to explode in people's houses? I don't know that happened, but at this point, nothing would surprise me. So I think we need to find out who paid, right? Because the whole thing could have been a planned long-term setup. You need to find out. If you love democracy, if you love fair elections, this is what you need to do. Now we're going to talk about the fact that there's no twin flame journey happening, right? I hear somebody keeps flashing my picture around. Oh, we're an item, we're a hot little thing, you know, we're cloudy, we're this, we're that. There's nothing. It's all this, right? No twin flame journey, nada. So you need to start calling out the lies. Okay. And there were many. Everything that was said was a lie. So here's some really important information. I have tried to track this down. The woman is not very responsive, but I have tried several times. I will keep trying. But I have warned her that you guys will probably follow up because this is the next scam. I had Christy from Chase Morgan Bank look at my Visa stuff. I couldn't see any anomalies, but in her digging into that, she found something interesting that I know nothing about. And it has to do with a Bank of America account that I know nothing about. The reference letter for this, when you go to investigate, is ECW 22114-03273. The account ends in 9999. I don't know anything about this account, but it was somehow attached to me, so I know something's wrong, right? And her number is 877-805-8049. Her extension is 105-001-4470. So this is the next up and coming scam, and you need to figure out what this is. Okay, because as far as I know, I don't have a Bank of America account. If I did, I had one like 30 years ago in Florida, and if anything, I would have left like a teeny tiny little bit of money in it because I was going back and forth for work, but I haven't used it since I lived in Florida, and I may have actually closed it, right? I probably did. I just don't know for sure. But certainly in any recent decades, no Bank of America account. So this is the next scam. You can get a jump on that one. And with everybody that you run across, and this is, nothing personal, right? It's just crime solving at this point. You need to check the affiliations of everyone involved. Why? Because we've had a lot of secret society members who are doing this kind of thing to steal money for their organization. And once you get in the organization, then you're a made man, right? And once you're a made man, then you can screw over more court cases for more money and further subvert the justice system. And the cheap bricklayers, well, they were one of the main secret societies that I know of involved. So you need to check that. You also need to check religion. And I have no problem with people who are believers, except for the fact during the hostile takeover attempt of our government, there was a particular religion involved, and that's highlighted in my book, which was stolen for a reason, or copyrighted for a reason. But Merrick Garland and AOC, one of the two has a copy, right? And you also need to check to see if the people like, the postal service people that can't do their job, or the file clerk who can't do their job, or the cybersecurity guy who can't do their job, or the lawyer who can't do their job, is involved with the 3-letter organization that was very much highlighted in my book. Okay, because we need to get down to who's trying to overthrow the government, right? So it's nothing personal. I have no problem with good, decent, loving, kind believers. But I do have a problem with people who are trying to overthrow the government and then put me in the middle of it, because I didn't appreciate that. So, all right, but they're not the only bad guys around. We also have the property manager. I got a message for you, property manager. I'm coming for you, brother. Probably your wife, too. Oh, yeah, I am. There's going to be a class action lawsuit against your ass. So To save yourself, you're going to do what everybody else has been doing in this case. You're going to rat. Yes, you are. You're going to rat as much as you know to shave off time. And what I really, really, really want you to rat on more than anything else is everything you know about the filthy voyeur cameras that were placed in my house, where they connected to, who asked you to do it, where they went. I want every detail. What officials in my hometown you paid to wire my shower, who gave you the keys, every little thing. I want every detail, and you're going to do it because you're going to shave time. And then I also want extremely stringent laws put into effect regarding this kind of filthy stuff. But I have faith in you, property manager. I know, because you're going to go down for so much time, brother, that you are going to rat out everything you know about the cameras, including all the local officials in my hometown who helped to make this happen. Okay. So, again, it's time to save yourself. And you're going to do that by ratting out. Oh, yes, you are. I know it. Everybody else is. Why should you be the only one not to? So, please don't send me stuff in my email. It's hacked daily. I have one email, the work one, I don't even check at all regularly. The other one, I look for key things once in a while. Just don't send anything to my email. Plus, it's hacked all the time. So if there are any funny messages going from me to the crazy one, that's not me, because I'm terrified of the crazy one, really terrified. So I certainly don't want to be in contact, right? Other than I do have compassion, right? For anybody who's sick or suffering. I do. Partly I have a lot of Buddhist beliefs, also Christian beliefs, and I do have a lot of compassion for people who are suffering. That is shared on YouTube, where I say, if you're dying, look for a center that can help you or whatever. But I'm certainly not, oh, baby, I can hardly wait to get together, because the only way I want to get together is in a courtroom with armed guards all around and, protection, because I'm afraid of this person. So there's never going to be a twin flame journey. There's not going to be a friendship. There's never going to be any clout monster, baby. No, this is never going to happen. I'm afraid of this human being. So if there's messages because they hack into my email and send stuff out, that's not me. All right. So, you all know I had the dream about the 3 abominable snowmen, right? And in the dream, there was a mountain scene. It was dark, and there were 2 paths I could take. One was up to the left. On the higher path, I'd have to go that way all by myself in the dark, holding my cat. The other one was to go down the valley and go right through the abominable snowmen, which looked like ogres and really, truly scary. Now, I did have on iron leggings and footings, so this is why I think we need a divine feminine movie, right? But I was scared because the monsters were really frightening. And however, if I went down the mountain, I had a silent partner who was going to go first and break up the energy. And that's exactly what they did. And they broke it up enough that I could carry my cat safely through the monsters. So whoever the silent partner is, thank you very much. Anyhow, I kind of got off on a tangent, but this is a message for the abominable snowman and Homemaster Flash. Now, Homemaster Flash could be several people, right? We had the judge running the prostitution circle, and he couldn't do what was right because he was porking the hoe, right? We had the cop who filed the fake prostitution charges on me. And we have somebody attached to a trap house. I don't know who that is. But anyhow, I have a question for you. Are we having fun now? There you go. Something for you to think about. Okay, and I'm going to end this part of the reading with Divine Feminine Strikes Again. I am so sorry you're going through what you're going through, but you are experiencing one small fraction of what I went through for 6 years. So we need to solve these problems with the secret societies and the poisonings and the three hitmen and the malignant narcissistic personality disorder that we allow into high office, and also witches and, all the stuff that we're turning into that makes us unrecognizable to our own eyes. So, and I know I have good people helping, and God bless. Okay, that was a really fun part. Now we're going to take a look at what it means when you have Neptune in the fourth house on a very low vibe energy, right? So we already did the high vibe. Now we're on the low vibe. So what happens when the planet of love, sacrifice, delusions, illusions, addictions, and our connection to God low vibes its way through the fourth house of our charts? Remember that the fourth house has to do with our roots, our ancestry, our homes, family, and especially the mother figure. And it can even represent our actual homeland. And because of the close link to family, it has a lot to do with how we were raised behind closed doors. So that also represents our psychological underpinnings, right? Because our parents form our subconscious mind. So it is also one of the mystery houses, and mystery houses can also help us to connect to past over loved ones, especially if you go deep into a state of hypnotherapy, for example. Now, since parental figures often show up in the fourth house, associations with Neptune here can equate on a low vibe to having an addict as a family member. You can see this kind of cloud of confusion overtaking this person here, right? So drug and alcohol addictions are quite possible. Or you may have someone in the family who is not there mentally, possibly a person with Alzheimer's or someone who just hears voices, for example. Taking care of an ill parent in your home could also happen when Neptune travels through the fourth. This could easily represent a period wherein an aging parent needing assistance moves back in because they can no longer live independently. Now, reflecting on our root structure, those very structures that support us, is a theme when Neptune runs through the fourth. Look at everything that holds you up. Is your education adequate? Is your physical home in good shape? Did you receive the psychological support you needed as a youngster? And if not, what can you do to shore up your confidence now? Taking time to go within to reassess your motivations and what you want out of life is important, because the structures you build up in the fourth house actually support you in your career endeavors. Do family members support you, lift you up like you see here in the mountains, or do they drag you down? Do their addictions, lies, and scams undermine your own self-worth? Did you inherit habit patterns and subconscious complexes from your parents that they're not supporting your growth as an adult, basically causing crazy energy all around your life? And if so, what can you do to shore up your inner world so it doesn't feel so chaotic? Can you find better, more supportive people that can help you to foster your goals? Now, when Neptune is in the fourth house, you may feel like you are forced to make sacrifices for your home and family, kind of like laying you flat there. Maybe you'd rather be out working instead. You're taking care of loved ones. You could also feel stuck in a job you can't escape because you have to pay the mortgage. Caring for family members, when Neptune, no, well, it's an effort of love, right? But it can make you feel trapped and homebound. For others, when Neptune floats through this house, you could literally experience burst pipes, basement floodings, or other encroaching waters that inundate your home, causing the need for costly repairs. Think deluge, for example. All right, and more sinister cases, and this is the devil card. You see the little monster just swirling all the winds around and causing havoc everywhere he goes. So in sinister cases, you could experience scam artists who undermine your base of operations. This could include lying thieves, for example, who try to steal your home by sending a nasty picture to you while spreading horrible pedophilia lies throughout your neighborhood, all in an effort to steal your house, your job, your joy, your income, all the while ruining your family. And of course, this was done to feed a titan, just saying. But this is all done basically to destroy your entire support structure for their illicit gain. It's like they're creating a whirlwind, a shitstorm, in your life so they can profit off of the nastiness that they sent. Now, can you imagine any kind of godly person doing that? No, of course not. It all just feels like devil energy right here. Okay? So, other types of scams that could also occur. Maybe, for example, you lease a room out to someone only to find that the renter that you've put in is actually a drug dealer. Okay, you can see, like they're living in a cloud of illusions of their own making. Or maybe they're illegally running a prostitution circle out of the basement. Being deluded in some fashion by a family member is also possible. And this is the zombie card, right? So they tell so many lies that people are running around going, what's the truth? Is this really happening? They may even use nebulous secrets or a swarm of lies against you to hurt your world standing. For whatever happens in the fourth house gets reflected directly in the opposite house, which is the 10th house of career. If your house is literally falling down around you at this time, what does that say about your inner world, your various support structures, your psychological underpinnings? What do you need to do to get your footing on more solid ground? Neptune is much like water. It erodes that which surrounds it. As a result, families could dissolve under this transit, with either a loved one passing on or otherwise leaving. And those changes to the family structure could cause you to lose your home and family business. Basically bringing a death to your home or family. Now, if you decide to buy a house under this transit, I would very carefully look for hidden defects like wet floorboards or soggy basements. So here you can see the swampy card. Is the water system good? I can't say this with more importance. Is it reliable? Is it of pure quality? Make sure you don't live near an industry that leaks toxins into the groundwater, or your family could pay a hefty price over the years due to ill and swampy health. I read a book once about that. I think it was called Class Action Lawsuit. It was about a tannery that leaked so many poisons in it basically harmed dozens of people, killing them with cancer. So it's no joke, folks. All right. Now, the other thing you can ask with Neptune is the home located in a flood zone? Okay, we see the water card here. Are rising seas endangering the property's boundaries? Does the piece of land or building have a sordid past you'd rather not live with, such as having formerly been an insane asylum, a trap house, or a locale from which illegal drugs were once sold? Under truly deluded circumstances, you could even be falsely living in a home that actually belongs to another person. It's like you're smoking crack and thinking it's all yours, but in reality, it's not, because, you're just creating a haze of smoke. And some of the official letters I keep hearing that are disappearing are involved in just that. So they're still trying to hang on to stuff because, they're smoking crack, and they don't realize that they actually have to give up stuff because the mob keeps stealing the official letters. So, when that happens, the delusional bubble that's coming out of the crack pipe here usually gets burst. And then the dream dissipates, leaving behind a literal sea of sadness. And unfortunately, and I truly do mean this, creating a dark night of the soul. And I am so sorry for the dark night of the soul that's coming. I really am, especially that it's like hit so many people in a particular group. So yes, you do have to, burst the bubble. But I am sorry for the turmoil that this has caused in your lives, right? Now, for the very unlucky, this transit could equate to the death of a parental figure. To ward off some of the negative influences of a low-vibing Neptune in the fourth, you're going to need to do your very best to make your home as peaceful and soul-filled as possible. Then, no matter what goes down, you will be more connected to your Creator. That divine connection will help you to ride out the brewing storm on your home front that much better. Because when we truly tap into that God energy, good things happen, right? All right. So thank you so much, detectives. I hope you have a ball with this one. I know you guys are working on it. Thank you ever so much, and God bless. And may the stars be aligned well in your life.